Hello, welcome to your Sagittarius season 2024 reading, December reading. All information to work with me one-on-one is below, as well as the extended version. So all of my general readings will be going out on Patreon for any member, free member, as well as the Sagittarius new moon video is already up on Patreon. That will be out on YouTube shortly. And the second part, which is, excuse me, the extended version of this reading where we get more in depth into the cards that we pull together. And my website is below. I will be doing a sale for Black Friday, so keep on the lookout for that post. It will be out before this is out. So, excuse me, that will be available to you. I'll be drinking some lemon water. Hot water. It is not a trend for me. I love it. It's like a sour candy sometimes. So pink for you in Aquarius, pink vibes. I don't know if you need more support or love. I'm also really into the metaphysics of colors, and that's something that I have been posting about more. It also is very soothing of many different wounds, but it's a very soothing color. And as we pull the cards here, Pluto is going to be sitting across from you for a couple decades. Leo risings in the 7th house. Leo sun and moon just sitting across, right? Now this is an intuitive reading, so even if I say one specific sign, listen to it. It could be for you as well. But partnerships, one-on-one relationships, you're transforming through those. You will transform in many different ways and have to allow for yourself to transform and let Pluto to guide you instead of wanting the control over the goal. Now, in your benefit, like in your most positive way, Leo, you know how to do that. You know how to let a vibe be a vibe. And that's why we have like crazy hair today. Crazy hair is letting yourself go. These cards can be very similar, but it's funny because we have Capricorn come out, but this is also about how Pluto and Capricorn may have trained you to an extent, trained all of us. We're all ready to break free. Any places that you now feel more free and don't need much restriction, you might be like, oh my God, this feels so good. You may feel more content in any place, area that you've put in your energy, your relationships. But at the same time, what we have to understand is they're both sitting here. So anything that you felt like you had under control can appear, sorry, my kitty saying hi, can appear as you being content and under control, right? And the more that you continue to acknowledge this, it's more like, how far do you let yourself go from the vicinity of what you can control? Especially if you have your own business, or if you're part of a team, or if you're part of something, not that anyone else can be this way, it's how you can be. You want to have the temperature, you want to always be available so that you can control the situation, so that you can do this. That's what makes you feel content. Now, if that's truly who you are and who you want to be it, Leo. Do and be that person. But right now, with this change, Aquarius is having you break free and question perhaps some of those things. That maybe for some of you, Capricorn also rules the knees. This is something we get into in the second part as well. Capricorn rules the knees, so does Saturn. Saturn rules other things as well, but we're going to focus on the knees. Knees is about core strength. It's about your back, right? If those go, the first place to go is your back and your core. Back is associated with Leo and the sun. Is there somewhere you need some more support, where you need to be more flexible? That is something about the knees as well. What can your joints withstand at this time? It's funny how my hair wants to go over there, but today, right now, I want to wear it over here. So it's like, see how that can just flip back and you're just like, wait, that's not the look I was going for, even though I can't control it, my hair at all times. I would love to, that's like my one thing. What's yours? And my hair is uncontrollable, I have learned. And yeah, it's just time to let your hair down. It's time to let things be more free. If that's what you're going for. If it's not, it'll be harder. And now I'm not saying that every Leo is going to be like, okay, great, I'm great at this. No, it's a practice in areas of your life, especially where you have control. That's why I said a business. If this is about your one-on-one relationships or your intimacy, there is a place. If you're missing a type of depth to that, it's because there is and has been like a lock on that. A lock on some of your earthly pleasures. Sagittarius for Leo risings is in the 5th house. Spark and romance. What are you fighting for? In general, what are you fighting for? What do you fight for? Do you have too much on your plate? Is that controlling your energy too much? Do you have too much on your plate? Is there some idea that you actually need to move on, but resistance gets in your way every time? Sometimes showing, it's funny because I had so much, sometimes getting ready for readings and like showing up to the readings, I will say, I'm going to take a sip while I tell you this, is like the most painful experience of like getting ready and getting myself together. I'm not saying it's painful, it's my head. And then when I notice that, I have to get in my body a little bit more before I sit down, because if I'm in my head too much, the reading is no bueno. It's not good. That's one thing I want you to think about. And also the other thing is like, oh, my hair doesn't want to part like it normally does. It looks better if I part it the other way. I know it's such a superficial example of what I'm talking to you about right now, but if you don't, try something new. Try a new look, try a new way about yourself, get in that vibe of wanting and transitioning. Like if you don't love your job, get another one. If you don't love that one right away, keep it going. Like stay in that transition mode for as much as you can, or allow yourself to be there at this time, because a lot of these things will be some days it will feel like Pluto's like, whoa, but you don't realize how many steps you took to get there, is what I'm saying. And also the insight that you're about to get. If there's a Capricorn in your life and there seems to be a really great connection with you two, but there's something in the way from moving it forward into a more deeper, and maybe it's learning to be content with where it's at, because it may not go any deeper. Okay, so this 5 of Wands brings us to the Tower, brings us to the 9 of Pentacles, brings us to the 5 of Pentacles. So 5 to 5, we have 2 9s and 2 5s. Super freshening up on my numerology lately as well. So you might want to look into 9s and 5s. Very interesting. Death and surprise right there, just in a nutshell. Or rebirthing, finishing. You may realize that there's an independence about you that you have been shying away from, and it's caused a feeling of stuck. And the only way to get that power back is to give it to yourself. Bottom of the deck. And we also have the 3 of Pentacles. We're going to get into this in a moment because it will help explain it even more, but I just wanted to show you those cards and why it's been slower than normal. This change, this Tower moment, is about you accepting more of who you are. If there's more that you're looking for, and you've been under this controlled sense of controlled with your resources, controlled with this, controlled with that, and it was maybe all work, not enough play, right? There's so much that went into that, or controlling your circumstances, being content, but knowing that there's still this love of imagination, this love of excitement that you have, this love of entertaining emotion, this love of entertaining others, yourself, and what you think you've been maybe slow to realize, and I wouldn't say that this is slow. I think it's a better approach to be more aware, right, Leo, sometimes, right? Be aware of yourself and your circumstances, but now you're so aware of the changes because you feel changed. You can show up in a way for yourself that you can really clarify what it's like to feel down on yourself. And you may also attract other people that you can help at this time where you help through that, but they're, because you're connecting with them, they're also helping you too, just so you see the reciprocation here. And if things are moving slow, it's because they had to go in the proper way that they had to go in. Because if someone appeared to you, for those of you in a relationship and wanting to leave this relationship, whether it's a business partnership or a romantic partnership, or even if it's a friendship that you've been in for, 9+ years that is coming to an end, a death cycle here, you couldn't have moved faster because you wouldn't have been able to hold the energy that you need to in order to actually move on. You see, there's something about you that before people don't know about you enough is that you go really full circle with something. This is where I find you have a similarity of, that Virgo Libra of looking at everything. There are times where you don't, but I think in relationship with people that you really care about and that you're attached to and you're attached to them, and that ego, like whatever the egos give to each other as well, whatever the healing was, whatever it was, it can be hard to let go because you know how good it was. Like you guys can, even Cancers right before, you can get stuck in nostalgia. And this is not about nostalgia anymore. This is not about keeping things for the sake of the relationship. It's more about choosing yourself in a way that doesn't rely on those feelings of wherever you've put in your feelings, wherever you put your emotions, whatever you've put emotional energy into. Even monetary energy. You notice that this is what's been keeping you from the realization, but you've had to get here. You've had to get here. And I need you to acknowledge that, because what's on the other side is so good. It's so big. There's so much abundance. There's so much you honoring more of your intuition, more of your heart. I know that can sound corny, it can sound cheesy, but Leo, you need to follow your heart. You need to be the first person to support that. You need to be the first person to say, I'm faithful to the support that I need. You're not just faithful to the person you need the support from, and why, or maybe they're why you need that support. It's not about you. I had this conversation with a couple signs in a couple months ago during Libra season. This is not a time to be slow on yourself. You may be approached with every area which you felt stuck, and now you no longer see it that way. There is something that has shifted in you that's given you this change of the way that you're confident, the way you make choices, what you want to be, what you choose to be responsible for, because it's what you know you can invest in the future. Also, if someone was messing with your money, there's no excuse for it. If it's just a purely business relationship that you think, or they have made you think, or you both think that it's emotional, it's business and emotions are very similar. If someone's messing with your money, this is when you find out, and this is when you move forward, and this is when you're faced with that needing to move forward. The longer that you wait to decide doesn't change the outcome. It just changes how you approach this person, how you approach where you're leaving, where you're going, or how you have the conversation. There's no excuses for this person, really. And do you want to remain in a relationship, business, or romance who was waiting for you to notice in order for someone to give it to you? Because if they give it to you right away without a surprised look on their face, they already know. So make sure you do this in person. Do your best to do it in person. Hop on a FaceTime. You want to see this person's face. Okay? Tones in the voice can tell you a lot as well, but some people know how to shift their tones and they know how to handle and navigate these situations. You want to see it and hear it. You want to be so sure about what you're about to receive and understand, because anything that's moved slow, by the time you make decisions, things will change very quickly. There is something happening where this Mercury retrograde, I feel better than, I don't know about you, but I feel better than when it was direct just a few days ago. And what I think is really interesting about that, also 2 is the inverse of 5, so a lot of significant things out here. You might be surprised too on how you handle this change. You weren't expecting to handle it so well. Don't do your best not to feel guilty. If you do find feelings of guilt, notice your digestion. Notice what you may need to still process, and let yourself process. Let yourself grieve as well. Let yourself be in your own process. Even if things are going well and good, you can still feel what you felt from that relationship, because it was significant. And it was when Pluto changed that you finally gave yourself maybe the space to think differently and to not fight yourself about it, but let yourself, you know, the times when you're like, ugh, and you avoid, and then you finally sit down and you like listen to yourself, or you write or do whatever it is, or go on that walk, or you get quiet with yourself when you know you need to. And it like dawns on you how dope you are, and like how amazingly creative you are, and how much you're not using your potential, or whatever it is that you've been keeping. Maybe you are using your potential, but you aren't in love with the relationships. You don't feel you can have both. And I think now you're realizing that you can have both, and you have to be willing to ask for that and to move forward appropriately. Even you have to grieve, because it is a rebirth. You know, I can keep going with the cards, but we're not going to do that. Mars is also in your sign too, and this is about Mars being in your sign as well and needing to speak up. We'll take out these cards in the second part. Needing to speak up in areas of your life, and this is what helps you, because this is about you taking a stand and speaking up. But it's not necessarily I'm taking a stand, I'm speaking up. It's this internal knowing, and you just act accordingly, like everything's normal, because it is. And then when you're able to process, or you're with the right people and they will help you, if they will be there for you in that way, you'll have so much to offer, needing to be heard, or you receive a kind of insight that has you moving forward without hesitation. You face the darkness like the sun would, like, I'm the sun, like I will bright you up, like it will be light, like it doesn't matter, I am the light, right? You are the light. So don't worry about the time. Understand what that time was for, and now what you're moving into, because this is a total shift. This month is, you may not realize how many decisions you make and change, because you just get so addicted, and not the best choice of words, but for you right now, it is, you get addicted to the change. You do. Because you just feel there's a lightness, right? You receive and you get all of the and if you allow yourself to go this way, Leo, you get all the information that you need. Everything that was hidden gets revealed to you. And at this point, I think you want to know, especially if it's going to help you release. If you get to a point where you feel released, where you don't want to know, you're still going to get the information, whether or not it affects you, or if it adds to whatever creation that you're creating. You're like, yeah, I'm like evolving quick. Pluto's already here. I know people do this emotional scare thing. Be wary of emotional people who are playing on your emotions in general, in the world, on the fucking YouTubes, everywhere. I had to shut down and be like, I can't do this anymore. I understand that's where people are at, but I'm not here to play on your emotions. I'm here to read you cards and use my skills, my intuitive skills, to help you, hopefully. I don't want to play on your emotions, and I think that's where we're getting at. When you feel that pull, and that it's like that, you sense it because you know it's predatory action. Lions are predators. You're not to be preyed upon. So reel it in. Know who you are. Remember who you are. This is longer than I want it to be, but Leo, choosing abundance, choosing yourself, regardless of the time. Don't say yes to the first offer either, from whether it's dating someone or a new opportunity that comes in. Do not just say yes to the first one. Make sure you have all the answers. Mercury retrograde can be prosperous. I won't, say that, and it didn't come out here, so I won't say that, wait until it's over. It's just Mars will go retrograde on the 6th, if you're a Leo rising, in your first house. So it's more just like you want to wait and see what, if it's after that time, you kind of want to wait a little while to see what pans out, not just for the excitement or because there's a desperation or a paranoia that enters the chat. You want to make sure you're clear, and that's why this emotional flushing or detoxing could happen. At this time, we are in the season of the hips and the liver. So anywhere that you're needing to move forward, that's why the fire sign seasons are the best, because it can be emotionally the best for this, because it could be, and your chart will also indicate different, just so you know. But beyond that, fire is the spirit, it's creation, it burns shit away that you need to be burned, and it makes what needs to be burned very apparent, because it becomes hot in your life. Attention to it, resistance towards it, it just becomes a hot spot. So if there's anything you want to burn away, light that fire and burn it. And see who shows up. And then see who doesn't. I'm sorry, I've had something in my eye this entire time. All right, Leo. Happy to be here with you. This time of change, I know, isn't always easy. I pray for you guys all the time. Do your best to do the things that you love. If you're not going to be around people that you love, if you're not able to, surround yourself with that, if there's things going on with the family, during this season, do your best to take care of yourself, to take care of your needs emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually, okay? It was lovely chatting with you. All information to work with me is below, and we will see you in the next one, Leo.